Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews, and welcome to Boulder, Colorado, where it is raining extensively. Hopefully you can hear me okay. But this right here with us is the 2021 Infiniti Q50 Signature Edition. That is one of the top trims along with the Red Sport, but this is less powerful and more focused on luxury. This is the flagship luxury sports sedan from Infiniti, and I would argue it's relatively luxurious and relatively sporty. It was when it came out in 2014, and they haven't really made many changes since. And I think that is slightly to their detriment, especially with all the competition nowadays. But why? Other than a few things under the hood, we haven't really seen many updates visually from this car since 2014, the first model year we had in the US, or really since 2009 when the design was unveiled. Over in Japan, the Japanese domestic market, they got this as the V37 Skyline, which did get an update a few years ago. We have yet to see that on the States side. Now, I've actually been a huge fan of the Infiniti design language ever since about 2010 or so. It's always been kind of curvy and elegant with lots of nice creases in the metal. I always thought it was very future-proofed and gorgeous looking. And I'd say it is relatively future-proof. It still looks objectively good right now. I could argue that Infiniti has not updated this for two possible reasons. Either it ain't broke, don't fix it, or they lack a certain vision for the future. Once again, I like it, but it's not really engaging or compelling to me, especially with all the advances the competition have made in terms of progressive styling. Again, this specific unit is coated in grand blue, that's the premium color they call it, and it has kind of a polished aluminum wheel. It is rather striking, but subdued. It's elegant, it's pretty, I'll accept it. But let's look at the actual styling cues. Up in the front, you do have the aggressive creased slope hood that is very signature to Infiniti. And there's actually almost too many creases going on if you look at it long enough. But in the very front is actually one of my favorite features. A grille, a normal grille. What a concept. They have not gone the route of the huge grills that some of the other manufacturers are doing, and I do appreciate that. You have a bit of chrome all around, a few parking sensors, some nice headlights, daytime running lights, fog lights. It's just a good, well-rounded front end. I do like that it's kind of a darker, polished, like almost black chrome along the bottom. It looks relatively sporty, but I'm not really a huge fan of the chrome that goes all the way around the side windows. I think that's overdone at this point, but again, this design hasn't been updated in forever, so what do you expect? Let's move around to the back and see how the design continues. Coming around back, you have a nice little slope in the trunk, which is actually a fairly small trunk, and the rear lights, the tail lights, they're actually one of my least favorite features. I think they have not aged super well. They're a bit too bulbous as you get out, and just not very like crisp and LED-like. Of course, your all-wheel drive badge, because this is the signature all-wheel drive, and then the signature badge over on the right side here. Nice Infiniti lettering on the top, just one little chrome strip. I like that there's not too much chrome in the back. And then you have a nice, it's actually a pretty good looking split dual exhaust and rear diffuser. I think the back is partially okay. I think a little spoiler could have helped. There's just a few things I would change, and I would like to see them address with future models if they keep this line going. Here we are inside the Infiniti QX50. When you start it up, it does, bring you up to the steering wheel. And yeah, this interior is not my favorite. It's fine. The materials are actually pretty good. The steering wheel feels very solid. It is a nice steering wheel. But the design is just kind of in your face. I mean, there's so much happening at once. It's crazy. You do have a little of this open pore wood on the door, a little bit here in the centers, and then also in the center console. You do have lumbar support, but it doesn't go up and down. It's very just one spot that goes in and out. As far as the infotainment experience, it's annoying as it is to navigate these menus. I would just basically never touch them. I would honestly maybe leave this on climate and then use CarPlay up there. That's my choice use case. With the music, you do get this premium Bose 16 speaker sound system, and that does come in the higher trim models. I can't speak to the bass stereo, but the Bose is actually quite good. Many audiophiles feel differently about Bose, but I am actually a huge fan. I tend to like most of the things they produce, whether home theater or small personal sound or car audio. I think it sounds fantastic, and there's a few settings you can control to adjust how the music works. You have this Bose center point, and then a surround volume, and then a driver's audio stage. I can't quite tell you what they do. They just kind of change the dynamics a little bit, and I could see different people liking different things. So definitely worth messing around with, but it's a really good stereo out of the box. So driving the Infiniti Q50, it's really not the most engaging or the most thrilling. But with the twin turbo V6, you do have a decent amount of speed with you. That twin turbo V6 is really an interesting power plant. It's both fast and slow, if that makes sense. Probably doesn't, but basically there's a lot of turbo lag. But once the turbos really do spool up and kick in, you kind of get thrown back in your seat a little bit, which makes it overall fairly fun to drive. So in summary, this is a good sedan, but I would not call it a luxury sports sedan. It really doesn't hold up to those words, at least how we define them in today's terms. You lack many features that you would expect in luxury sedans, such as such as cooled or ventilated seats, heads-up display, panoramic moonroof. Basically, it drives fine, it looks fine, it's a fine car. The interior is honestly my least favorite part. I think it needs updating dramatically, and I really dislike the multi-screen infotainment setup. It's just not very logical and not the most fun to use. With how beautiful the design looked over 10 years ago when it was unveiled, I've been recursively excited to see what they might bring to the table next. Let us know what you think. What do you think of Nissan and Infiniti nowadays? There's a lot of talk of them revitalizing the brand soon, and I can just say I really hope so. I've been an Infiniti fan for years, and I will continue to enjoy seeing them on the road, but I think they have some work to do. We'll see you in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video.